I, 29F, am unsure on how to put the moves on my husband, 32M. Okay, this might sound weird, but hear me out. For background, we've been together 15 years and married for 13. I have a mental disorder that keeps me on a few medications. I've been on these meds since I was 19. One of these meds is an SSRI. One of the well-known side effects of this SSRI is a loss of sex drive. So, since I was a teenager, I haven't been super interested in sex. I find people attractive, I find my husband particularly attractive, but it just never connects between that and sex. Now, I like sex. I like having sex with my husband. And we have a fairly active sex life for being together 15 years. Like 2 to 3 times a week. Just, until now. Sex doesn't cross my mind unless he is coming on to me. So, my sex drive has come back. We've taken me off the med that lowered it, and it has come back in full force. So the issue I'm running into is that, for the last 10 years, I've just waited for my husband to come onto me. Now that I'm off it, well, I feel 16 again. But since I've been so ambivalent for so long, I have no idea how to hit on my husband. And I just want it pretty much all the time. I find myself scared of rejection, or imagining he doesn't want to sleep with me. I've gained a bit of weight lately and am incredibly self-conscious. Every time I start to, I find myself pulling away out of fear. For what it's worth, he is never anything but complimentary of me, my personality and my body. He tells me 10 times a day he thinks I'm cute or sexy. I'm sure he'd be receptive to sex, but it still terrifies me to make that move. Does anyone have any ideas? TL, doctor, suddenly have a sex drive for the first time in 10 years. Unsure how to put moves on my husband. I'm going crazy. When we're both working from home and he's on the couch with his laptop, sometimes I'll give him a look and say, "Can you move your computer?" And if he's not in the middle of something and moves it, I'll straddle his lap and start kissing him. If we wake up in the morning and are on our phones in bed, I might rest my head on his chest or stomach to cuddle and then start kissing his skin and keep moving down if he seems receptive. Invite him to shower with me and wash his back. Sneak up behind him and swat his butt and run away giggling so that he'll chase me. Offer a back rub the day after he works out, with him lying on his stomach shirtless. Of course, take off my shirt in the middle and lean over him. Once I just took his hand and started sensually kissing his fingers, and it started something really hot. I won't claim to be the best or most frequent initiator, but those have all worked for me. No advice beyond he is gonna be hella excited when you initiate! Exclamation mark. It depends. There are a variety of ways you could let what might be a simple kiss linger. There really isn't a proper way, and it should be reflective on your relationship. Honestly, sometimes it's as simple as doing to your husband what he does to you. Why don't you just be honest? Like, say that you've been on meds that kills your sex drive and the only way you wanted sex was if he initiated it. Now that you're off meds, you want him, like all the time. Then tell that you have no idea how to make moves and that you're terrified of rejection. Then, ask for tips. This would be embarrassing to say, but you're not offering anything, so there is nothing to reject. He would be super happy about this. I believe honestly is usually the best way forward. Good luck, smile. Don't worry. He wouldn't be having sex with you 2 to 3 times a week for 15 years if he wasn't in love and attracted to every piece of you. Straddle his lap, kiss his neck, rub his chest, or even ask him directly. How do I, 26F, deal with my husband, 26M, always asking me to do things for him that he's capable of doing on his own? Backstory: my husband and I have been married for 2.5 years. When we were first together and first married, I was happy to do things for my husband like make him sandwiches, cook meals specifically for him, clean up after him, etc. because it made me happy to do those things for him. I wasn't asked to do these things, I just did them because I cared. And he was appreciative. Years later, though, I still do things like prepare meals for him or pick up after him sometimes without being asked. He will ask me to do things for him that he's perfectly capable of doing on his own. Such as, can you make me a sandwich? Can you do a load of my laundry? Or can you get up to turn off the light? To top it all off, Sometimes when I fulfill a request, I'm only met with a second request. If I bring him a sandwich, he takes it and asks, can I have a glass of water? Or if I make him that sandwich, while I'm back in the kitchen trying to prepare something for myself to eat, he's already asking for a second sandwich and I have to drop what I'm doing to make him a second sandwich. Then I make my own and relax at the table to eat my own food. While, in the beginning, I was perfectly happy to do these things for him unprompted, or even when asked, because I genuinely wanted to. Now, I feel he has come to expect them and it takes the joy out of doing these things for him. Before you ask, yes, I say no. But I'm met with argument and guilt tripping. When I argue back and say things like I do all of the above things for myself every day, or I also work all day, or when I need something, my first inclination isn't to ask someone else to do it. He walks off in a huff. He will actually go without a sandwich, or glass of water, or whatever the thing is, rather than do it himself. Today, he got me a t-shirt and I was appreciative. He's really not much of a gift giver. When he asked for a sandwich and I suggested he make it himself, he said, but I got you that t-shirt. Other partners who have experienced this idiocy, how do you 1. Successfully say no, and 2. Get through to them so they can grow up? Too long didn't read. My husband asks me to do things for him that he's perfectly capable of doing himself, and it causes conflict in our relationship. How do I say no and get through to him that this bothers me? 26. I had to go back and look, because this sounded like the behavior of a 60-year-old curmudgeon raised in a time when women were expected to be maids that you could bang. It's like he doesn't even see you as a person. When I was younger and asked my husband to do something for me and he'd say no, this is what would go through my mind. I wouldn't have said no. I do things for him because I love him. If he's telling me no, it much because he doesn't love me. It took going to a therapist to get out of that. He helped me realize that I very much want to respect others' autonomy. And if someone is tired, busy, just sat down, doesn't feel like it, them saying no has zero to do with how much they love me. It just means they're tired, busy, just sat down, etc. Especially if that person is usually generous and kind and helpful. It took hearing it from a third party to believe this. I will also say my husband is amazing at not enabling me. He just says flat out, I'd rather not, and will not sway. You need to channel that kind of energy. You need to believe that you saying no is okay and healthy. He absolutely will kick back. You're changing things and it makes him uncomfortable. When this happens, don't give in. Channel that calm energy and explain, I'm going to focus on myself this week. I still love you just as much as ever. I need to do this so I can grow as a person. Do not fight or get emotional if possible. Explain what you're doing, ask him to respect it, do it. If you feel like it, absolutely offer to make him a sandwich. Don't say no always, and don't say yes always. Say yes when you'd enjoy doing an act of service for him, and no when it will make you feel resentful. Do this for a few weeks and see how he adapts. Give him time to adapt. The goal is for you both to respect each other's autonomy and feel like equal partners. After a bit of time, open the conversation up and talk about it. Good luck. The arguing and guilt tripping are quite concerning. Let him walk off in a huff and or go hungry. That's all quite childish and immature behavior. He sounds like a 3-year-old. Acting in such an infantile manner would destroy any sexual attraction I had for a partner. Personally, guess that's up to you, but it's something to watch out for. Emo. All you can really do is draw your boundaries and stick to them. You can try sitting him down and explaining why you feel you need to draw these boundaries, and what you are willing to do, such as, I'm willing to cook a meal for both of us 5 nights a week or whatever. You can try discussing an equitable division of labor, especially if you both work. He needs to pitch in some way. Maybe you'd be willing to be the sandwich maker if he's willing to do the laundry or whatever. There's no right and wrong about labor divisions in a couple, but they have to be fair and agreeable to both people or resentment will build up. But there's that saying, you can't logic someone out of a position or viewpoint that they didn't use logic to get into. Oh, I don't know if a sit down is going to accomplish much, but it may help you stick to those boundaries later. Remember what we talked about. He's manipulative at best, and a narcissist at worst. You've apparently trained him to expect this treatment, and it's going to be an uphill battle training him into a new expectation. Like training a dog, you just have to keep reinforcing the lesson over and over again until it takes. Ask him to do everything for you. Go full on with it too. Ask him to do your laundry, make you lunch, clean your car, clean the bathroom, pick up this mess, get me such and such from the store. Honestly, I've tried this but I can only hear the word no so many times before this just becomes a self-destructive tactic lol. My F25 partner, M30, doesn't want to get married or have children, but ask me to wait in case he change his mind. Me, F25, and my partner, M30, have been together for over 4 years and we have a 3-year-old daughter together. Before we had a baby, we had a lot of plans for us a couple. We wanted to travel and enjoy our time as partners who just got together. My pregnancy wasn't planned, but even though it was very rocky in the beginning, we made it work and we love our baby and we love each other a lot. We never talked about having more children or about marriage. Before I had my daughter, I thought I wouldn't like to have more children and I thought marriage is not so important to me. Everything has changed after I became a mom. I can picture my life with one more child, married to a man that I love, and I don't know if I can give up of my vision of the future. My partner, on the other hand, told me that he's quite sure that he doesn't want more children and that he doesn't believe in marriage. He said that maybe in couple years he will change his mind, but he can't promise me anything. This left me very confused and sad. I understand that people are different and want different things from life, but is it fair to me to live in hope that one day he will change his mind? I would like to keep my family, but I'm worried I will be unhappy in the future, living the life my partner wants. Have any of you been in similar situation? TL, Doctor, my partner doesn't want to have more children or get married but say maybe one day he will change his mind. I'm confused and I don't know if I can live only in hope. This makes no sense to me, because kids are such a bigger commitment than marriage, lifelong, no matter what, and he's already done that. Definitely ask him more about his reluctance to marry you. Living only in hope would be a mistake. Get answers. He doesn't want children, but he already has one. He doesn't want to marry the mother of his child, but he still wants to keep you on a leash. Sounds more like he's just waiting for someone better to come along, and until then, you'll do this. Children are so much more permanent than marriage. If already having a baby together hasn't made him feel differently about marriage / more children, then I think Oppisolland needs to cut their losses. It's not fair for you to wait for him to change his mind. It may be time to end this relationship and focus on the future you really want. If you stay, you may regret it 10 years from now when H doesn't change his mind. We never talked about having more children or about marriage. See, the problem here is that you put the cart before the horse, or in this case, you had a kid together before even discussing marriage. I'm going to be blunt, if it were up to your BF, he wouldn't be a father right now. Sure, he may love his daughter and take responsibility for his share of bringing her into this world, but between being childless and having a child, I think you know what he'd pick. It's not wrong to change your mind about kids or marriage, but you should understand that changing your mind implies reframing your entire relationship with him as a partner and father of your child. That is to say, if you want vastly different things, then this relationship can't work anymore. You managed to stitch it together for a few years, but now that can't be done anymore and the holes are too big to patch up. When you say I want marriage and children, and he says I don't want that, there's really nothing more to add. Not having what you want will make you resentful of him, and pushing him into marriage and or more children will make him resentful of you.